Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach and welcome to my press conference, and 1 down, 2 to go. First buy period is out of the way, and I think largely most people did fairly well over the broad scheme of things. I myself scored 1846, as you can see there, ranked in the top 18%. I've marginally moved up by the 84 spots there, but still remain in the top 10% and in the top 20,000, so relatively well poised. As you can see, Shorty is down to 9 trades, which is, that's cutting it fine, isn't it? But before I give you my reasoning, we'll cross over to my side. Now, as you can see, backline is somewhat solid. I mean, Daniel Rich and Birchall and even McVeigh, to an extent, you wouldn't say are out and out premiums, but I feel as if this back half of the season they can be okay. I think McVeigh showed what he can do. I think Birchall can give me a solid 85 average from here, and Rich, well, look, he's certainly struggling, and could be one who gets traded out at some stage. I mean, he just is so easily tagged out of the game after he had 14 touches in the first quarter or whatever it was, and barely saw it after then. So I'll touch on firstly my side and how it went, and then we'll discuss that trade issue. And Dangerfield, wasn't he fantastic? Managed to bring him into the side, and he delivered immediately with 173 that I managed to loophole. Selb was great as well, and the rest of my mids were just mediocre, with Gray, Shield, Libba scoring, and Prittis scoring sort of 70 to 85. Keys was, of course, a scorer who got cancelled out with his 39. Stewart was just okay. Gawn kept doing his stuff. Opted to hold Nick Nat, as Goldstein, is dropping, obviously. And in that forward line, which I was hit hardest, of course, Deledio there with the captaincy, getting that loophole. Franklin fired late in another tough condition sort of game for a key forward. 99 and 4 goals was pretty impressive for him. Petrarca was okay. Hunt had one of his better scores for the season. And Sam Reid, who I managed to bring in, again, that was a little bit risky, but he was okay. 57 I'll probably take, average of 51. Hopefully, all I'm hoping is that he keeps his spot. So overall, reasonable week. I'm certainly happy with it. As you can see, my side has 5 blokes on the bench that average 95 plus. Granted, Halls have been a little bit out of form, but nonetheless, they're quality players that can come in. Looking forward, McVeigh will be out, Libba, Prittis, Gray, so obviously Simpson will come in for McVeigh, Pendlebury and Ablett in for those two. And then you'll probably cop a bit of a 0. I think Keys is potentially a chance to be dropped. Gawn will miss. I'll trade in Goldstein, I think, mainly just to avoid that 0. That's something I'll probably assess with break-evens and things like that. And then Montagna and Hall will come in to fill the void left by, say, a Franklin and a Hunt. And, of course, Petrarca will be a 0. So, again, we're looking fairly decent for the next week. Should be fine. It'll be interesting the week after, of course. My back line will be hit pretty heavily, as will some of my midfield. So that'll be something I'll really probably struggle with, because if Tom Lee can't hold his spot and McPherson stays out of the side, that's something that could be of concern for me, because, of course, of my back 8 players, there was only Simpson and Lee and McVeigh who had the bye in the first 2. So that'll be interesting, but we'll see how that goes as it comes. We'll hopefully attend to that, no dramas. As for the 9 trade situation, as you can see, my side, I think the back line is, of course, the weakest line with, look, I've got 6 guys that I believe can average 85 plus. Are they 6 premiums? Probably not. I would like to add, say, an Alex Rance or a returning Johannesson, something like that, in the coming weeks. Whether that is for Rich, whether that is for Collins, we'll wait and see. It'll all be depending how I can get the cash rolling. I have 200 odd in the bank, which is good to have. So in effect, I have 10 trades left, because I have 225,000 in the bank, which is more than enough for a solid upgrade. And that midfield, I think once we welcome Pendles and Ablett back, taking the role of Keys and Stewart, then you'll have a pretty solid 8 mids there. Of course, Gawn and what will be Goldstein, of course, premiums. And in the forward line, once you add Hall, Montagna, It just leaves Petrarca as the non-real premium player, and I think I'll be targeting someone like Lukey Dalhouse. So, yeah, I'm probably not holding off the trigger for now because I would like to keep pressing hard, and I'd feel relatively confident to have, say 6 trades left and, a side really full of premiums. I might even manage to, you might put Dalhouse in the midfield and, as your M9 who can swing to F6 or, things like that. You can manipulate it. So I'm pretty happy. While the 9 trades is probably less, as, compared to many, I'm pretty happy with where the side is at. As I say very often, don't be concerned about how many trades you have left. Be concerned about how many trades you have left in comparison to where your side is at. If you got 9 trades, obviously here's a template what a side should look like. You really want to be knocking on the door of 22 guys that you believe can score 100 every week. So that's pretty much what I'm about, and I think I'm getting pretty close to that. A few guys are falling, of course, Goldstein, Parker, and Dalhouse will do soon enough. So yeah, fairly happy with the side overall, that's for sure. As we cross over to the league, I had another loss there. 1936 was delivered by, Stanton deliver. He scored pretty well. And I'm down there at 13th, a game out of the 8. That's only because I've got the fellow draw with Garlic's best 22. So to be honest, it's not impossible, but I need a little bit of luck to really bounce back into it. I'm starting to lose touch. It's ironic how I had better results when my side wasn't, I wasn't as pleased with my side. Now all of a sudden I'm more happy, and this particular league isn't going along as well as I would have liked. But, I think my score for the round was about a par. I'm not complaining about it. I think it was okay. It just sort of neutralised and plateaued where I was at in the overall standing, which, I'm happy with through the buy period. I'd like to rise, say, 5,000 odd spots through the buys, but to neutralise after the first one, I'm relatively happy with. And my overall philosophy on leagues is, it's just a bit of luck whether you win or lose. It's not like in AFL footy where you can prepare and do certain things to an opposition to help you win. These are just sides that are traded out with players that'll score this amount of points in round X. So, whether you have this guy this round, let's have a look. I scored 1846. Top billing scored 1796. If I'd have played him, what could have been. Just many things like that. Of course, it's a fairly strong league, but sometimes if you can get away with getting a win when you don't maybe score your best points, there'll be blokes out there like, let's have a look. Ziggy Stardust scored 2,104. Now, his opponent only scored 1,800, but, if you're a bloke like the Doodlebugs, Sean scores 1979, he would have lost with a really good score. So it can come down to minor things like that. So I hear people talk about, you're going for the league win or overall. Well, I know what it means. You might trade more so if you're coming up to a quality opponent, or you might let that trade slide. It's not as important for the weaker opponent coming up, but I pretty much think no matter what, it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you trade as good as you can when the trades are necessary to be done, and it's the right time to do it, you will be going for overall, but it will benefit your league in turn. That's how I sort of view it. I don't look at who I'm playing in the leagues. I don't look where they are because it's sort of irrelevant. It just depends where things are at for the certain round, and you can't really predict it. The odds will say a result will come one way, but it doesn't always work out because people can have bad weeks, others have good weeks. If you can get a win in your bad week, well, Bob's your uncle. You can lose when you have a good week. So yeah, it can be really dependent. I've always just been one for, let's get my side as good as we possibly can, and hopefully the league results flow on from there. So just bit of extra thoughts on that one. So overall, pretty happy with my side. Reasonable score. As I said, it was largely brought about by Dangerfield, and a lot of sort of 70 to 80 scores with some big ones from Shaw, Bartel, McVeigh, Selwood, as well as Dangers, and Gorn was good too. So I welcome quite a few back in the like of Simpson, Pendles, Ablett, Hall and Montagna, and certainly look to trade out Nick Nat probably, and perhaps attend to some other spots. I'll just have to wait and see, but let me know how you went. Hopefully it all went well. By the time you're listening to this on the Tuesday, I'll start my new job tomorrow. So, yeah, see how we go with that. Hopefully it goes well. I'd have to say Friday would be looking likely for the weekend preview, but I honestly can't say with any great confidence when exactly it will be done, because, you know, I'm not sure when I'll be down in Geelong. I'm not sure what sort of internet access I'll have, how long I'll be working for on any given night, and travel and things like that. So bear with me, guys. If the weekend preview happens to come a little late, then my apologies, but I'll endeavour to have it up sort of late on the Friday, or it might even be at some random time at midnight on a Thursday or something like that by the time it uploads. But we'll do our best, and after the next week or two I'll sort of have a new routine and things will start to be a bit more consistent on that front. But as always, feel free to let me know your thoughts on my side and how you went on the weekend. Hopefully it treated you pretty nicely. Save most of the trade questions for later in the week. Even if the preview's not up, feel free to ask a trade question on Thursday or Friday on this video if you're really concerned, and I don't have a more recent video to talk on, but I'll do my best with the questions as always. Quite a busy time coming up, of course, with the new job, so I'll do my best. But as always, I hope the SuperCoach gods look on you nicely, and I'll chat to you soon.